Charlotte, and he's a columnist for culture+Metro.com. He's an online blogger, and we want to get into this new media going on. Academic chair for digital filmmaking and production at the Art Institute. A lot of people may not know that this is going on in Charlotte, but digital media, the technology, Facebook, you're talking about the video, digital new media. There's a lot of opportunities to create jobs for yourself, create your own platforms. I mean, we're going to get into that with Dr. Locs, Professor Locs, coming up in just a minute on WGIB 103.3. It's the soul of Charlotte, y'all.
Professor Locs.
You trying to give me an extra title?
Yeah. You got Professor Locs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Professor.
You know how we do. You know, Dr. Bishop.
Bishop Don Juan.
Yeah.
That's the first bishop that comes into my mind. I'm Catholic. I should know some bishops, but no, Don Juan is the one I'm recalling. Yes, indeed.
So when we say the academic chair, you are in control. Dr. Charles Easley, a.k.a. Professor Locs, an academic chair for digital filmmaking and production at the Art Institute of Charlotte, and he's a columnist for culture+Metro.com. He's an online blogger, and we want to get into this new media going on. Academic chair for digital filmmaking and production at the Art Institute. A lot of people may not know that this is going on in Charlotte, but digital media, the technology, Facebook, you're talking about the video, digital new media. There's a lot of opportunities to create jobs for yourself, create your own platforms. I mean, we're going to get into that with Dr. Locs, Professor Locs, coming up in just a minute on WGIB 103.3. It's the soul of Charlotte, y'all.
Professor Locs.
You trying to give me an extra title?
Yeah. You got Professor Locs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Professor.
You know how we do. You know, Dr. Bishop.
Bishop Don Juan.
Yeah.
That's the first bishop that comes into my mind. I'm Catholic. I should know some bishops, but no, Don Juan is the one I'm recalling. Yes, indeed.
So when we say the academic chair, you are in control of all curriculum.
I'm the head brother in charge.
I mean, no film.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And he's a great teacher.
I think, you know, as much as I do in the class, as much as I do administratively, my heart is still in the classroom. To me, that's where the magic happens. Yeah.
What is your black enrollment?
Actually, we have a significant population of African Americans. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons, you know, I made the transition from going to HBCU and going to the Art Institute. Yeah. Okay. You might want to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's talk right into that.
All right.
You good? We can pull it to you if you need
Okay.
to.
It's WGIB 103.3 FM. Check out JB tomorrow night doing this thing at the Excelsior Club, 8:07 on the BJ Murphy Morning Show. We just got some great guests this morning trying to change the way you feel about your community here in the Queen City, the soul of Charlotte. All right, it is 8:07, 74 degrees right now, high today around 90. And Dr. Charles Easley, he's the academic chair for digital filmmaking and production at the Art Institute of Charlotte. Oh, we call him a.k.a. Professor Locs because you wear locks.
Yes,
Right.
and you're trying to give me an extra title there. So just Professor Locs.
You know how we do, right?
Yeah, you're gonna get me in trouble with the accreditation board.
I'll be calling you Bishop in a minute.
Yeah, Bishop, Doctor, Professor Locs.
He's originally from Houston, Texas, man.
I grew up in Houston, Texas, in the inner city. Went to several schools as an undergraduate. Always laughed at, you know, some I left, some I was asked to leave.
Yeah.
Finally went to a historically black college, Houston-Tillotson, and really that's where, you know, I really kind of found my niche, if you will. Met one of my mentors, Dr. Venice Berry, and you know, this is back when we were not as committed to diversity in education. You know, I'd been told, you know, how did you get in this program? You can't write, blah blah blah. You know, and she was the one that told me you can write, you know, and you can be creative. And I'm basically going to show you how to interface in a mainstream environment without losing your cultural voice. And for the most part, that's what I do with my students.
So you are the academic chair for digital filmmaking and production at the Art Institute of Charlotte. That means you the head man.
I'm the head man. I'm the head brother in charge, if you will.
And no film get made unless I approve it. And with the digital filmmaking and production, I mean, this is huge. The new media is on the rise. I mean, Facebook, YouTube, and being creative and creating your own platform is where it's at now.
It is. It's like, you know, the thing I share with my students is, you know, back in the day, because I graduated from the University of Iowa, and a lot of the kind of roadblocks, if you're a filmmaker or a creator, is like you had to go through the unions, you had to have an apprentice or be an apprentice, and it was always like a catch-22. Now, with the inroad of the internet, you know, you have the ability to basically market yourself and be very independent and kind of hold that autonomy. And so, yeah, with the inroads of YouTube, my students have Vimeo accounts. I mean, you know, they can not only create, and that's the thing I've learned, you know, in this business. Making a film is not the issue. It's about distribution. Yes. Really, that's where the power lies.
He who controls distribution controls the money.
Exactly. You know, as wonderful and powerful as, you know, Oprah and Tyler Perry are, they still have to go through a distribution mechanism that is still, for the most part, controlled by Hollywood. You know, they have a little bit more pull in that they've proven that they can be successful by concentrating on black-themed stories.
We got Dr. Charles Easley.
He still keeps trying to give me that doctor.
Bishop Charles.
Bishop.
No, we got Charles
Bishop
Easley,
Doctor.
academic chair for digital filmmaking and production at the Art Institute of Charlotte. I like having fun with you, man. 'Cause, this is so huge with this Art Institute in Charlotte. And do you think a lot of people know that this is actually going on?
Well, I think, you know, that's one of the things we're working on. We're working on, you know, kind of expanding our branding. You know, I'm a product of a historically black college, and I was assistant professor too, both at Clark Atlanta University, then at Barber Scotia, before they had the drama, bless their hearts. And I was able to kind of build up their media arts program while I was there. So it was a wonderful experience because, you know, I think part of our culture is, you know, it's kind of like, you know, Malcolm X by any means necessary. So, you know, okay, if we have to learn, then I have to work with the resources that are available to me. So, you know, when I met the dean that hired me at the Art Institute, you know, there was some trepidation, you know, because here I was, you know, this African-American, you know, educator, this male, and I knew my kind of like importance and value within the HBCU environment. And she was the one that told me, she was like, you know, Charles, your presence here is going to be just as important because all of these students need to see you as an educator and as someone who's been successful, but especially those that you share culture with, and that has been my experience.
And having an African American at the helm of the Art Institute here in Charlotte, digital film making and production is huge because there's so many people that want to do films. They want to get into that aspect of behind-the-scenes work, and you can guide them to that and show them how to make money where they can come out of the Art Institute and start making an income for themselves.
And that's what it is. You know, we are a different environment. We in that we are kind of applied art. So it's and the thing is, I think that I always use the metaphor that we're kind of like the Professor X school. I'm a big comic book geek. Professor X's school for the gifted. That, you know, students come in, and because we have a very kind of holistic approach in terms of learning. I found that a lot of students who come from a traditional public school setting who flounder come to us, and because we understand their learning model and understand how to approach them in terms of content, how to motivate them and how to engage them, they flourish in our environment. And that's sort of like the student that I was. You know, a lot of times, you know, especially as young African-American boys, we get kind of pigeonholed in terms of, you know, you're learning disabled, when in actuality we're not challenged. They understand in terms of how we process and how we think, and so we understand that.
My son, it sounds like this is the best school for my son, because my son can take a cell phone, a computer, and he don't know, have no directions or nothing. He'll just, Dad, look at this.
My nephews are like they're like little mini MacGyvers. It's like, just, you know, bobby pins, some gum, and, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, he's communicating with his buddies in Houston.
I mean, it's crazy, man. Got Charles Easley here. He's the academic chair of digital filmmaking and production at the Art Institute of Charlotte. And how can people get involved with your program right now? People listening.
You can reach me at ceasley@aii.edu. And also, you can always call the switchboard 704-357-5899. And all I ask is that it's legitimate film business. Always get these requests that, I need somebody to, film my cousin Peanut's ball game. We don't do that. There are other folks for that.
Right. You specialize in film making.
Yes.
Where your students learn how to produce films and get distribution or distribute themselves.
And really, I want to kind of clarify that the program is called digital filmmaking, but it really is about digital production.
Yeah.
And it's really about, we take the students through what we call the 3 phases: pre-production, production, and post-production. And then through that matriculation process, then they can make a much more informed decision in terms of how do they want to interface in the industry. And I always use myself as an example. I graduated from University of Iowa from film school, but the majority of my career has been in broadcast and television. I moved to Atlanta to work with the Olympics. Historically, how I've earned a living has been an editor, and then through a kind of 10-year process of working with people who are a lot more talented and had been in the business longer, then it allowed me to work with, projects like the Sci-Fi Channel with Dune, Battlestar Galactica, a documentary for BET on the African American AIDS crisis within the African American community. So again, I always tell students that you have to be in it for the long haul. This is not about instant gratification.
What films have you worked on? You got a chance? Did you produce any films?
Well, more of my work has been more in like documentary studies. Okay. I was associate producer for a few years with the local film production company Motion Arts, and through the Cable in the Classroom series, that allowed me to work with projects and networks like Sci-Fi and BT.
Right.
Yeah.
So you talk about with filmmaking and production, from somebody coming to your institute wanting to make a BET video to wanting to produce a CBS-like newscast. They can learn how to do that at the Art Institute.
It depends on what track they want to go in. Yeah.
Wow, that's hot. All right, so hey, we need to get in contact with Charles Easley. And what's the email again?
ceasley@aii.edu. You can also contact me through my alter ego, which is Professor Locs. I'm also a weekly columnist with Q City Metro. I write about race, class, gender, sexuality, and popular culture, and also on my own personal blogging experience, Professor Locs, LOCS.com. So, yeah.
I mean, that's good stuff. I'm glad I met you, man, because I'm definitely going to be contacting you. I'm fascinated by the new media and what we can do on the digital platform. We have a whole new world to explore, and we have just scratched the surface of it. We haven't even delved into, and I think the African American community is like so many years behind what is going on right now.
Well, it's I think it's the newer generation, and even those of us who are older, we have to kind of take those steps to embrace the new technology and the new media. In terms of even branding myself as Professor Locs, I've learned that I have to be kind of in multiple environments. Partnering with people like Q City Metro. Not only just having a Facebook account, but having a fan page and understanding what that means. Twitter, all of that. You have to make sure that understanding that these environments cross-pollinate, and we have to kind of graduate from the old school and embrace the new school.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much, Charles Easley. He's the academic chair for digital filmmaking and production at the Art Institute of Charlotte. And if you'd like to get in contact with him, ceasley@aii.edu.
Or Professor Locs at yahoo.com.
There you go, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. All right.
Hey, it's 8:18 at WGIB 103.3. I see Marette Parker is in the building. And, of course, we'll be talking with our other special guest. We got a brother